Welcome to Affordable Athlete Meal Prep with Dr. J. This week we're going to make baked breaded chicken and orzo. Here's our grocery list if you'd like to follow along. Hi there, Dr. J here. I'm back again with another Affordable Athlete Meal Prep. We're in a new location, but we've still got the same supplies and the same goal of making an affordable, delicious meal for a low price, right? But making sure that we're getting everything that we need. So tonight we're gonna make a healthier version of a breaded chicken tenderloin, okay? Tenderloins are pretty nutritious. Per 2 tenderloins, you're gonna get about 20 plus grams of protein in that ballpark. And so today we're gonna make essentially 3 to 4 servings based on what I've got, based on the supplies that I have here. I went a little bit more minimalist. We're gonna do 1 pound of orzo, which is nice and cheap at 99 cents a package. Got this onion, which is optional. A pre-made pack of vegetables. This past week, I did my grocery shopping at Trader Joe's, and this pack was $3. It's got an awesome blend of vegetables in it, and I thought for the price point and for it already being ready, it was a great grab. I had some chicken tenderloin in my freezer, which I thawed out for this. I have about 7 pieces here, and so the preparation that we'll make will be for about 7 pieces, which will be right in that ballpark of just over about a pound. Got a collection of spices here. I've got black pepper, which will go awesome with the vegetables as well as the chicken. Cayenne, that one's just for me because I like things spicy. This 21 season salute, which I'm almost on the end of it, is a specialty from Trader Joe's, and it's one of my favorite seasonings from them. It's just a good overall seasoning blend, and I think it goes really well with the mix that we're gonna make. As we get into this, you're gonna see that this will pair really well with the pesto. If you were to buy pesto from the store, which will off the shelf will be kind of in that ballpark of $2.50 to $4, or you can get it fresh in that neighborhood of $3.50 to maybe $5. And I happen to have a big pack that I got from Sam's Club the other day, which I'm going to use with our orzo, and this seasoning pairs really well with that. And additionally, we've got parsley, as well as panko breadcrumbs, which we're going to coat our chicken with once we put it through an egg wash, all right? And that egg wash will help these breadcrumbs along with that seasoning that we're gonna add to really stick to the chicken as we bake it. So as we get started today, we're gonna start out by baking the chicken, and so we'll get started with the prep. So before we prep our chicken here, we're gonna turn the oven on. I'm gonna set it at 375. It's gonna take probably about a half hour for us to be able to bake the chicken, which will be perfect for us to prep the vegetables and the orzo in that time. All right, so now that the oven's on, I'm gonna go ahead and set my mix for us to use the breadcrumbs here. Because some of the pieces of the breadcrumb mix are pretty big, I'll actually smash them inside this bag before I add the other seasonings. So I've got about a quart-sized bag here, and you can see I've filled it pretty good, but this will probably be enough for us to be able to coat 7 of these tenderloins, and if we need more, we can always refill this. So I'm gonna take all the air out, and then, so now that our panko bread mix is a little bit finer, that means we'll be able to get more pieces onto our chicken here. I'm gonna put a very healthy serving of this 21 season salute inside here. So one thing to keep in mind is, although it is going on the chicken, the one thing is all of it is not going to coat the chicken, and there will be some spaces between the flavor. So after you add the 21 season salute, I'm gonna add a little bit of black pepper because I really enjoy black pepper. So just a dusting of that. Some cayenne just to add a little bit of heat. And then some parsley. Get a good dusting of that in there. And then we'll shake this bag up. So you see our breadcrumbs have a pretty good coloring to them. There's a lot of flavor that's in here, which will be perfect once we get to our egg wash here. So I'm gonna add one egg. One egg might work the entire way for us here today. We'll see. And I've got a second egg off screen just in case. We're going to beat this egg. This will give us just enough of a coating on the chicken so that the breading sticks to the chicken. And the nice part about using the Ziploc bags is you're able to shake the chicken, which will help for a little bit more even coating as well as getting some of the excess off. So I'll take my tenderloin straight out of the bag, give it a little wash on both sides with the egg. Open up this bag. Quick zip. And there you have it. Here is our first coated chicken tenderloin. And then we just repeat the process for all the other ones. Perfect timing. Oven is ready. Last piece has been breaded. For any of the pieces that you think they need just a touch more breading, we're gonna shovel out some of this mix and then dump it out and pat it into that chicken tenderloin. All right, since we're done breading the chicken, we're done with these two bags. And then I'm gonna rinse out this egg wash bin and I'll show you an overview of how our chicken looks. So real quick, here is how our chicken looks. You can see the texture, all right, and the flavor. It's a little messy right now, but it's gonna bake so well in just a second. All right, so since the oven is ready and our chicken is ready, let's put it in. We're gonna start out with 20 minutes on the clock here, all right? And while that's going, we're gonna start out getting some water ready on the stove for us to be able to put our orzo in. We'll be prepping our orzo in this pot today. So we got that water going on high. While that water is on high, we're gonna get started by chopping up this onion that we're gonna add to the ready mixed vegetables. So we'll cut the top off. Then we'll cut the bottom off. And we will peel away any layers that aren't like this with any imperfections. All right, so we got two good halves now. Slice these about 1/4 inch. And then we'll cut this in half one more time. Perfect. So now I'm gonna get the oil started in the pan over here. And as you know, I enjoy grapeseed oil, so we're gonna use grapeseed oil today to get our vegetables cooking. We'll get the burner going here. If I can, I do prefer to cook on the same side of the stove so that I know I have one cool side of the stove or one not hot side. So we'll start this one, the front burner, right in the middle. Get a good, probably about 2 tablespoons of oil in here. Let that coat the pan, and then we'll wait for that to heat up. Now that we're seeing a little bit of good movement here with this oil, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add the vegetables in, starting with the onions we just chopped. And then I'm gonna add our ready vegetables that we got at the store here. Because we do want the flavor profiles to go together between our vegetables, the chicken, as well as the pesto that we're gonna add to the orzo, I'm gonna keep the seasoning on these veggies fairly simple. I'm gonna use that black powder that we just had. Get a little dusting. We'll add some garlic powder and onion powder, which isn't a must, but that is just something I prefer. And because we've already used it today, we're gonna add just a little bit of cayenne in here. Now that I've got all the seasonings that I want in here, I'm gonna give this all a nice little stir here. And then separate the onions as well. We're gonna keep this on a medium to low heat. If you have a cover, now would be a great time to add a cover to these veggies. If you don't have a cover, that's okay too. Just be attentive and keep stirring them, as the moisture will evaporate out of the veggies and it may cause them to stick at some point. But this cover will help us keep some of the moisture in so that we can start to focus on our orzo soon. Our water is officially boiling now. We're gonna get ready to add our orzo to it. As we add our orzo, the timing of how we cook this is extremely crucial, because if you overcook orzo, it's gonna turn into a not so fun mush, all right? So according to these directions that are on this bag, it says to boil for 5 minutes, stirring frequently, which we're gonna do. And we're actually gonna strain it with the lid because I don't have a tight enough colander or strainer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, add this to our pan here, and then get out a spoon for us to stir with. So we'll add this in there without making an extremely large mess. All right, we started with 7 minutes on the clock here. It also looks like now would be a great time to stir these veggies as well. See some of that greenness coming out with that kale that's in here, as well as the snap peas or the snow peas. I'm actually going to turn the temperature down on these veggies a little bit so that they steam a little bit more versus sauteing. And then that'll help our timing with the orzo as well. All right, we got 1 minute left with our orzo here. All right, it's time, and we're going to drain it. So I'm gonna add this lid. It's got small perforations on each side here, and I'm gonna drain it out through this small side here. Turn that burner off. I'm gonna grab my oven mitts so I don't burn my fingers on this. And then we'll get ready to turn the chicken. So I believe we did all right with our orzo here. Give it a stir. All right, and then we're gonna add some pesto to this to give it some good flavor, as you can see here. So I'm super excited for this. They say to cook orzo to al dente because if it's mushy, it's no good. All right. So we're coming right up on a time crunch here. I'm gonna grab the pesto and then we're gonna change over the chicken. So the time has come for us to flip each piece of chicken. You can hear it sizzling. Oh yeah, that's some good color. Take a look at this chicken real quick. Oh yeah, that looks good. We're gonna put this in for about another handful of minutes. Give each piece a little poke here to kind of see where it's at. Ideally, we want that to run clear, but we also don't want it to be too tender. So we're gonna give it another 6 minutes. So now getting back to our orzo. Before we get in here, I'm gonna give these veggies a stir real quick. Oh heck yes, yes. As you can see, these are cooking real well. Nice and tender, we're almost there. Want those onions to cook just a touch more. All right, so this pesto, I happen to get this container at Sam's Club, but if you were to buy another fresh style, they're typically between $3.50 to about $4 at Trader Joe's specifically. Their blend is about $3.50 for the fresh, and it honestly looks fantastic. I just happened to have this on hand before I went into the store. So I'm gonna give it, for every pound of noodles that I use, I usually give it 3 healthy sized large tablespoons. And then because it's in my coated pan, I'm gonna stir it with that spatula. If we need more, we'll add more. Pesto happens to be one of my favorite sauces. I'm gonna add one more. It's looking pretty good from our side, but I want just a little bit more pesto. Good. I'm gonna cover this back up. Keep it off the burner. Give our veggies another stir here. Okay, now we're talking about it. Yes. Look at this right here. Heck yes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off for these veggies. Looking at kind of this spread, if you're looking for more, I think the veggies would be a great place to double up, as well as the chicken. And this orzo made more prepared than I thought it was going to, which is awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this burner off. All right, so everything that was once cooking is no longer cooking. We got 2 minutes left on our chicken and we're almost there. All right, it's time for us to take another look at the chicken. That chicken is looking pretty good. I'm gonna give a couple pieces a cut before we decide to turn the oven off. That way we can just be sure that the chicken is cooked all the way through. All right, so we got 2 pieces of our breaded chicken. Right here, we're gonna give it a little cut just to see if they're all the way done. Oh, heck yes. What I'm looking for is to see if there's any pink or any spots that look like they're a little bit too tender, which would mean that we need to cook a little bit longer. This piece looks fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead, cut this piece. This one looks, oh my goodness. Look at this. Smells fantastic. I'm gonna take a sample. That's really good. If your chicken's not done at this point, go ahead and put it back in for about 4 to 5 minutes and then test it again. If you need to, you can go ahead and cut each piece just to make sure that it cooks thoroughly. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and fix us a plate, or really fix us a lunch for the week, all right? I've got my lunch for the week bowl here ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 to 3 good scoopings of the orzo in here. We've got our orzo in here. Now we're gonna go ahead, add our veggies. About 2 scoops of that. And then we'll scoop our chicken right into here. Oven baked breaded chicken, some ready-made vegetables, as well as some pesto orzo. And this serving that we made today will easily make you 4 different servings. And from the looks of it, it looks fantastic. As I get into this bowl here, I'm gonna resist the urge to eat this in front of y'all, but I strongly encourage y'all to take a chance and start learning how to cook, start bringing these things together and learning how to take care of your body from this side of things as well. And the awesome piece is this costed me anywhere from about $20 to $25. I'm getting about 4 to 5 servings out of it. And if I was to double the recipe, the cost wouldn't double for me to get double the amount of servings. So continue to take care of yourself, continue to treat yourself well and do the little things right. And once again, I'm Dr. J, and as always, be refined by the grind.